Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
A high school student in custody tonight after Clinton Township police say a gun is found on school grounds. We'll start there at 6. School administrators say a tip from a parent and another student led to a temporary lockdown.
It happened this morning at Chippewa Valley High School on 19 Mile near Romeo Plank. Priya Mann joins us live with what she's learning about this investigation. Priya.
Well, Kim and Devin, police continue to question this student. He has not been charged. A parent and another student were among the first to alert officials. This was the picture posted on Snapchat that understandably raised alarm bells. A Chippewa Valley High School student sitting in a bathroom stall with a gun. A student and parents saw the photo Friday morning and called school administrators. They immediately called Clinton Township police, and the high school was placed on a temporary lockdown. Police arrested the student and recovered the gun. No students, teachers, or staff were injured. The district thanked the school resource officer and police for their quick action and thanked students and parents for reporting the photo, saying safety is a community-wide effort. In an email to parents on Friday, Superintendent Ron Roberts wrote, "Parents, please remember to talk to your child about your expectations for behavior at home and at school. Remind them of the school policies that prohibit weapons on school premises and the serious consequences they will face if they violate those rules." The student in the photo remains in police custody. Chippewa Valley High School was scheduled for a half-day, and students were released on time. And again, the district is praising the quick thinking of police and the quick thinking of parents and students. Again, if you see anything online that's suspicious, report it. And again, to our young people, anything you post like this is just not worth the notoriety and the trouble that you'll be facing. Of course, we'll continue to keep you posted if he is eventually charged. Reporting live in Clinton Township, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
Indeed. Okay, Priya, thank you. Devin.
Former President Trump makes his first stop in Michigan tomorrow, his first since ending his 2020 campaign in Grand Rapids. He's coming to Washington Township to support two candidates who were unknown just a few months ago, but have quickly become big names in Republican circles. Grant Herms joins us now with more. As Grant, these two candidates are in lockstep, it would appear, with the former president.
They certainly are, and they are running for key spots in our state government, especially as the former president continues to falsely claim that he won the 2020 election and as he eyes a likely run for president again in 2024. Former President Donald Trump coming to campaign for two candidates for two of the state's top offices. First is Christina Caramo running to unseat Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson. Trump endorsed her back in September. The Wayne County Community College professor's campaign is based on the lie that the election of 2020 was stolen, claiming she saw illegal activity at the former TCF Center. Caramo has also dabbled in other extreme views, including as a noted speaker at a conference for conspiracy theorists last year. She's also been accused of anti-Semitism by the Anti-Defamation League after a recent tweet about Democratic donor and Jewish immigrant George Soros. The other candidate is Matt DePerno. He's one of three Republicans running for Attorney General, but the only one to get Trump's endorsement. Trump also hosted DePerno at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida. He staked his name as the attorney who filed lawsuits in Antrim County, making false claims voting machines had been rigged, essentially kicking off a key part of the lie surrounding the 2020 election and building his campaign around that. In recent days, this ad began running in Florida.
Where's the money, DePerno? Republicans need a winner running for Michigan Attorney General.
Directed at the former president, a test for Trump and his chosen candidates in his first visit back to a major battleground state. Now, we did reach out to both campaigns today. We did not get a response back from Ms. Caramo's campaign. We were able to reach somebody with Mr. DePerno's campaign, but they didn't respond to our request for an interview. Doors open tomorrow at 2. Parking, though, opens at 8 a.m., and the former president isn't slated to speak, Devin, until 7 tomorrow night. Back to you.
Grant, something perhaps a little conspicuous by its absence, the governor slot. Governor Whitmer is, of course, a target for the former president and Republicans.
Yeah, that's the curious thing here, is that there aren't any of these gubernatorial candidates slated to speak tomorrow. The former president has supported in the past the right-wing media commentator Tudor Dixon. He also hosted Perry Johnson, the businessman from Michigan, running for governor at that Mar-a-Lago event back in February. So it'll be interesting tomorrow to see whether he endorses one of them on stage, whether one of them shows up. It is certainly something we'll be watching tomorrow night.
You bet. All right, Grant. Starting Monday, a Grand Rapids jury will be back to work trying to decide if 4 men accused in the plot to kidnap Governor Whitmer will go to prison.
Adam Fox, Barry Croft Jr., Daniel Harris, and Brandon Caserta are charged with conspiracy to kidnap the governor. They were arrested in October of 2020. Prosecutors say the men were angry with the governor's COVID restrictions. Defender Sean Lay joins us live in Grand Rapids tonight as the trial moves closer to the finish line. Sean.
And Kimberly, just before 5 o'clock tonight, the jury told the judge in the case that they wanted to get a fresh start on deliberations first thing Monday morning. They have so much to think about after 3 weeks of testimony, evidence, secret recordings, a big case, and even more thrown at them today in closing arguments. The final words to the jury from prosecutors included what they believe was the motive for the kidnapping plot, going over each defendant one by one. Barry Croft believed there would be a civil war and a new country would form. Adam Fox was angry and blamed others for his life. Daniel Harris suggesting, why don't we just kill Governor Whitmer? Brandon Caserta obsessed with conspiracy theories. The attorney for Adam Fox ripped the government and FBI, saying they controlled the plot and pushed it, highlighting to the jury how the prosecution only showed them snippets of evidence. Daniel Harris's attorney argued that the Marine was only with the group to oversee weapons training safety. Brandon Caserta's attorney again highlighted these words from Caserta himself.
I'm sick of it, and these are the guys who are actually doing it.
Arguing that Caserta was talking about his reaction if COVID vaccines were made mandatory, and the argument for Barry Croft, that the FBI hired a known felon to be an informant targeting Barry Croft, accusing the FBI and informants of hiding facts and lying to make it look like the men all agreed on the kidnapping plot. Late this afternoon, the jury decided to get a fresh start on deliberations Monday morning and went home for the weekend just before 5. We were able to ask the attorney for Adam Fox what he hopes the jury goes home with. Is there one other message you hope that they are taking home with them today?
I just hope that they abide by the admonitions the judge has given them. They follow the rules, and they make a fair determination of the evidence and come back with a true and just verdict.
Now, during this trial, the jury heard secret recordings of the men talking about shooting police and politicians. Today, defense attorneys said they were actually talking about police protests in the summer of 2020, and we also mentioned that how they would react if COVID vaccines were made mandatory. They weren't talking about the other things. Prosecutors were saying, defense attorneys were saying the jury only heard a small snippet of those recordings and didn't hear enough of the recordings to put it all in context. Again, deliberations start Monday morning. We're live tonight. Sean Light, Local 4.
And we know you'll be there. Sean, we appreciate it.
Time now for a check of the weather.
Yeah, let's get over to Paul with a look at what to expect as we head into the weekend here, Paulie.
Yeah, hey there, and we're going to get things a little bit milder than where we've been today, but we're also going to have some rain chances, and I'll break down the timing on the rain chances coming up in about 10 minutes. Right now, though, if you're heading out the door, 40 at Metro, 30s everywhere else, and we have wind chills that are basically in the 20s out there. Dress for 20s if you are heading out the door. That's what it feels like. Heading out right now, you're literally heading out the door right now just to get down to the Wings game at LCA. We're going to fall through the 30s this evening, but very slowly, and with the wind starting to lighten up during the evening and clearing skies, no rain or snow or anything, this is going to be like a basic winter day going to the hockey game, except that right now it's April. You don't want winter days, but no problems getting to and from the car. We'll talk more about those weekend rain chances coming up in just a few.
New at 6, Governor Whitmer officially vetoes a bill that would have paused the state's 27-cent gas tax for 6 months. That legislation passed in the House and Senate earlier last month. The governor has asked the federal government to suspend the 18-cent federal gas tax.
Well, today is the last Friday the state will release coronavirus data. Going forward, new cases and numbers will be released once a week on Wednesdays. The state reports 1,661 new cases of the virus over the last 2 days, an average of 831 cases per day. 33 deaths were also reported during the same time period, including 27 from a vital records review.
Now the latest in the war in Ukraine. Russian officials claim 2 Ukrainian military helicopters struck a fuel depot on Russian soil. Ukrainian officials say they can neither confirm nor deny that the attacks took place yet. President Putin earlier this week vowed to de-escalate attacks near the capital of Kyiv, but the UK Ministry of Defense says Kyiv has been subjected to continued airstrikes. Meanwhile, data from the United Nations suggests nearly 4 million refugees have left Ukraine to flee to nearby countries. That's nearly 10% of Ukraine's population. Expect more on the war in Ukraine ahead here at 6:30 on NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.